What's going on, everybody? It's Clint from the Die Hard MMA podcast. This is the episode for UFC Vegas 22. Make sure you click that link below, head on over to odds.com, give us a thumbs up, and good luck on all your betting action this week.
Middleweight action. Derek Brunson taking on Big Mouth Kevin Holland. I know he's Trailblazer, but I like Big Mouth much better. I'm just going to call him that. Derek Brunson getting kind of a late career resurgence here. Finally kind of locked it down. Blitzes in a lot less, so he's been able to protect that chin of his a little bit more, relying on his wrestling that he used to be known for. But he's getting up there, man. That age is starting to creep up on him. He's on the wrong side of 35, and he's taken on one of the hottest prospects we've seen in a long time, Mr. 2020 himself, Kevin Holland, who's coming off of knocking out one of the all-time greats in MMA, Jacare Souza, off of his back. Just a stupid knockout that we think we've seen everything in MMA, and then Kevin Holland comes out and does something like that. I'm a big believer in Kevin Holland here, man. I've been a big fader of Derek Brunson, and that's bit me in the ass his last couple of fights. Believe it or not, I have faded him all three of his last fights in a row. I bet Elias Theodorou, and that was the first fight Derek finally showed that he was a little smarter than we believed. And then I bet Ian Heinisch because I like what Ian Heinisch brings, and I thought the Hurricane was going to be able to find the chin, but Brunson doubled down on his improvements and got the grappling going. And then I tried again. I was an idiot. And, the beginning of the hype trains that have just been lighting money on fire for us for the last year or so, Derek Brunson got it done by derailing Edmund Shabazian, and good on him. But when you look in hindsight, none of those are all that great. Like, Shabazian was an undefeated kid that's never really been tested, and he sank the second the fight wasn't going his direction. Good hammer, bad nail. And then you've got Ian Heinisch, who just showed in his last fight out that this Ian Heinisch 2.0 that knocked out Gerald Meerschaert, maybe there was some chin issues of his opponent, more so than his incredible power that he suddenly discovered. And Elias Theodorou, the main event himself, is no longer with the UFC. They cut the man because of that performance. So the last three wins, you can put an asterisk next to each and every one of them. And every time Derek Brunson does get into the title picture, does get into that challenger type of fight, he gets knocked out because these guys are just bigger, they're better, they're faster, and they can find that chin. And Kevin Holland is no exception. He's got a 4-inch reach advantage here, man. And I think the speed and the accuracy of the punches from Kevin Holland is going to be the one that really gets through and ends this night, because a lot of people, and I hope I'm not taking like all your points here, man, because a lot of people are going to go back to Kevin Holland being taken down in the third round against, we just bet against him last week. What's the name I'm thinking of? I'm blanking on it. I'll find it.
Not
Darren
Stewart. Stewart, yeah.
Darren Stewart. Everyone's going to talk about how he got out-grappled by Darren Stewart. Everyone's got to talk about how he got taken down so easily his last fight. But you know what he's been doing? He's been getting up and punching people in the face. You know what I mean? He does get taken down, but he gets up and he hits them hard. He knocked his last opponent out super quickly and super easily. And Darren Stewart, dude's never been knocked out. He is unreal, made of granite. You cannot finish this man. And that is something that I think is going to be a problem here. Kevin Holland is going to find a spot on Derek Brunson, and the shots that he hit Stewart with would have crumbled Darren Brunson. I've got Holland. I've got him by knockout.
This is a tough one. It's a tale of two lines. Not as much as the last fight, but still a tale of two lines and a tale of two analysis, right? You bring up the age, and it's something that I don't look at enough. I know it's a big thing for MMA gamblers' age. I will say that the miles is kind of right at that end of his peak too. He's at 11 years or so, Brunson. But like I mentioned my previous point, there's wrestling, there's some other stuff on there, right? And man, all I got to say is if you got Holland at that dog money, that's a great bet. I don't know about where the line's going, but he is where my analysis is heading. And it's crazy. I feel like Derek Brunson, I picked against him the last 3 times too, Clint. Guilty. I don't know if I played him, but man, I guilty on the wrong side for sure as far as my analysis goes. And I don't want to do this to him again. He's got more ways to win on paper. He's more patient. He's training with Brendan Allen, who last beat and took advantage of the fact that Holland will give away some bad positions. I thought Jacare Souza could get it. But by the way, let's put something straight. You know, he didn't beat Jacare Souza. I don't know where that's coming from, but he beat someone named Ronald Souza. So let's get that straight. That wasn't our beloved Jacare, folks. That being said, I'm still going to give Holland credit for beating that guy Ronald, right? Because he's just showing where his confidence is at. And I was on the wrong side of that fight with Souza, and I was on the wrong side of Green Moises. But aside from those two fights, those two guys are the ones. I don't know about you, Clint. They made me the most money in 2020. And I'm pretty proud of that because at the beginning of the pandemic, I said certain fighters are going to do really well, certain fighters are not. And the two fighters I cited specifically before these runs was Bobby Green and it was Kevin Holland, because they get unfairly maligned for their trash talk. They're actually good competitors, and they're not cold. Like, you see Kevin Holland is nice to us after he beats them. It's just part of the game. It's gamesmanship. You got to do what you got to do to win in there. Yeah. And Bobby Green is the same way. And we've seen them kind of come to life. And that's really hard to pick against. Whereas Derek Brunson, probably the last card, it's been a little too long since I went perfect on picks, but was UFC 208, if I'm being honest. And the closest call I had was I picked Anderson Silva over Derek Brunson. Now, I'm not going to relitigate that scorecard. The point being, the reason why I picked Anderson was because guys who can be crafty and kind of get in your head, whether it's in a mean way or in a sports gamesmanship way, like Anderson Silva, a weird way, it really throws Derek Brunson off, regardless if we're getting crazy aggro Brunson or not. And then furthermore, and I looked into these things, is that he's not the best at maybe checking leg kicks or dealing with straight linear shots. Guys like Anderson Silva, Adesanya with the knee up the middle, and even Theodoro when he had his moments in their fight. Like, when I looked at guys who throw those straight up, those weird side kicks or things, because Kevin Holland will do those in a company to line up that right hand, doesn't really do much with those or defend them much. So I feel like Brunson should win this fight. I think he's the value side clearly now. My heart's with you, Brunson bettors, if you're taking a shot at him now. But my analysis is saying that Kevin Holland's going to get right hand KO here. So that's my pick.
There you go, man. I like that we agree on that one there. I think there's a lot of people chasing value on Brunson, and I think that recency bias in sports betting is a bitch, and everybody is looking at the weakness we saw from Kevin and the strength we saw from Brunson, and the chin idea has disappeared. I'm telling you, man, if you go back and you watch that fight with Stewart, Kevin Holland got tired in round 3 because he hit Stewart with the kitchen sink. Like, that guy just doesn't fall. Brunson will not be able to take those shots. I fully expect Kevin Holland to get a knockout. And let's not forget, this is a 5-round main event. If Brunson gets 1 or 2 takedowns, if he grinds out the first 2 rounds, can he keep it up for 5? Can he avoid the shot in round 4? I don't think so. I think Kevin Holland's going to get him, and I think he's going to get him good. I went ahead and laid 3.5 units to win 2 at minus 175. Once again, I may have gotten it wrong, man. Some money is coming in on Brunson. That line is dropping, and this is a spot where I'm not going to be too crazy to say I'm comfortable to put more on it. It looks like they opened up the prop line. There's we try to steer people to legalized USA-based sports books, but we got to look at the early lines from what's coming around offshore. Holland by knockout is plus 160. You're getting plus money on Holland by knockout, which in my opinion is by far his clearest path to victory here. And that's a spot that if that number survives to when we can touch it stateside, I'd be very interested in Kevin Holland at plus 150 or plus 160 for a knockout.
I agree. I think that angle is there. And even if he didn't beat the line, that happens to the best of us. However, take solace in the fact that I do think this is more of a sides fight. Over and under feels very dangerous. I know I could cry wolf with that a bit, but I will stand by it here. I think this is a real dangerous fight to decide the over and under. You're best off going by your sides.
I couldn't agree with you more on this one, man. I think that Holland could knock out Brunson anywhere from round 1 to round 5. If Brunson gets off to a hot start and this thing is slow, You don't want to be sitting with a 2.5 in your pocket, looking over under 2.5. I lean more towards the under myself, just the way that Kevin Holland fights. But we saw him even like the Buckley fight, where he didn't do it until the 3rd round, and it looked like that one was going to decision. So round 3, round 4, those are all very much on the table in this fight as well. So good call. I want nothing to do with the total. I'm sticking hard with my favorite here on Kevin Holland, and I'm going to try and ride this one to the bank, man. I'm excited.
Perhaps that's why I'm with you there, because I actually am officially picking round 3, which maybe shows my indecisiveness for the over-under. But I'm with you on the Holland by KO.